We actually have a little surprise for you, which I'll announce at the end of this episode. But there are moments like that, grief, things we don't understand, reinvention, shifts in our lives that we do need to be supported through. And it's in those moments where we feel like the only option is to keep moving, to keep solving, pushing, carrying, doing it all alone. And we don't.
Welcome to the living room. Leave the over at the door. We'll talk it out till it's simple, till it's you again for sure. Life, leadership, money, and the names you outgrow. We make space for the woman coming through. Living room wisdom, where your story is your glory.
Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Living Room Wisdom, where your story is your glory. I want to start off today just by saying thank you. Whether you've been here for a long time, over our 100 episodes, or you're joining us as a result of our 100 episode celebration and event, I just want to thank you and welcome you into this space. Last week, we actually released our 100th episode, and whether you joined us virtually for a watch party or in person here in San Diego, I just want to let you know just how grateful, how incredibly honored and touched I am by all of the outpouring of support and the sharing of gratitude, and most importantly, the stories of how these episodes over the last 3, 4 years of building out this platform have really transformed your life. So thank you, thank you, thank you. 100 conversations, 100 moments of wisdom, 100 stories shared by people that were willing to sit down, really get real and authentic and vulnerable, and tell the truth about their lives behind the success. So, again, I just want to start by saying thank you. And for those listeners that have been here from the early days, I have a special place in my heart for you. For those of you that are new, I swear you need to go back and binge episodes because you may have missed a lot. And I know that there's a lot there for you. So, as we continue through today's episode, no matter how you discovered our show, I want you to know that this is an incredible community of women and of very smart men who gather not only online but offline so that we can have these conversations, connect deeply, and really go out and be able to create the success and the alignment in the world that we desire without having to do it alone. So, we're going to continue the theme of our 100 episode that you're not meant to do it alone. And seeing our room last week filled with people, hearing the laughter, hearing the stories, hearing the reflections, as much as I love showing up here online, there's something so magical about being in front of a live audience. And that was our first time doing our podcast in front of a live audience, and the energy was just palpable. I went into that event, that broadcast, with the intention of people walking through a threshold and leaving that incredible event changed in some way, whether there was a mental, spiritual, emotional shift. And I wanted them to leave there not only inspired, but disturbed and made aware of the areas of their lives that may not be fully in alignment so that they can go out and change that. So it really reminded me of why this podcast exists in the first place. And if you watched the 100 episode, you know that I never actually wanted to have a podcast and that I only started this because the marketing company I was working with said that I should. And normally, I'm not someone who kind of goes along with the shoulds. I don't like shoulds, but there was something that was calling me forth, even though it was very uncomfortable. There was a version of me that was becoming that I didn't quite understand just yet, but Spirit told me to say yes. So, one of the things about gathering people in a space, whether it's virtually or offline, is that you're speaking into them in a way that organically develops. And if you're someone like myself who's very intuitive and connected with the source, sometimes things come through me that the people in the audience or the listeners or the viewers need to hear that maybe I didn't even plan on sharing. And so there is something so magical about just showing up fully in your identity, in your presence, and allowing spirit to flow through you. And that's what happens when we gather in rooms and share vulnerably and honestly. So it's reminded me of really a truth that's followed us through all of our seasons with the podcast, also with my retreats, workshops, luncheons, and other rooms that I bring together. And that truth that shaped everything is that you're never meant to do this alone. You don't have to do this alone. And the reason I stress this is because there was a time in my life where I believed I did have to do everything alone. If it is to be, it's up to me. And yes, to an extent, we're in control of our destiny. We make the decisions, we're steering the ship. But let me tell you that it took me a long time to realize how much easier and how much more joyful and fulfilling life could be if you allow people to support you on your journey and stop holding everything alone. So some of you know parts of my journey, but before 2009, like I said in the 100th episode, if you watched it, I was married with three children and the white picket fence lifestyle. I lived in a bubble, right? I had created or achieved everything that I set out to achieve. And post 2009, I became a widow. I lost my late husband to suicide and found out I was pregnant on the same day of his passing. So I became a widow. I was pregnant with my fourth child. So I'm raising four children as a single mom. I was a full-time entrepreneur building several businesses, including taking over his business, his financial business, and really just navigating life and leadership all at the same time while grieving. And if you watch the 100th episode, or if you go back and watch, we talk about grief. And this is a really important conversation because grief can look a lot of different ways. And my grief was an obvious grief, it was a loss, right? But there's so many different types of grief that we struggle with on a daily basis, one of them being our own identity deaths that a lot of people don't talk about. And fortunately, one of our panelists from the 100th episode did speak into the grief. And fortunately for you, because the panel was so successful, so intriguing, so inspiring, and so touching, we actually have a little surprise for you, which I'll announce at the end of this episode. But there are moments like that, grief, things we don't understand, reinvention, shifts in our lives that we do need to be supported through. And it's in those moments where we feel like the only option is to keep moving, to keep solving, pushing, carrying, doing it all alone. And we don't. If you're a high achieving woman, I'm pretty sure you understand what I'm saying, right? You know this feeling, you understand this feeling intimately. And I really am here to call you into a new way of being, a more sovereign way of being. So, the world often tells us, and we've been programmed to believe, that strength looks like independence, that leadership means having all of the answers all of the freaking time, right? And that success means doing it alone, right? I'm a self made millionaire or I'm self made. The truth is, no one's self made because there's always a team, a person, someone that's supporting you from the sidelines. And I think the quicker we realize that and start to identify the people that have been sent into our lives to support us, uplift us, and keep us on track, the better off we're going to be. But life has also taught me differently. I was pretty hard-headed and went against the grain for a long time. I heard from a lot of successful people that you can't do it alone, whether it's life, whether it's leadership, whatever it is. But it just took me a long time to get there. So there were relationships that I lost because I wasn't open to receiving the support. There were probably opportunities that I lost because I didn't have the capacity to hold it alone and was too stubborn, too hard-headed, and not trusting enough to bring together the team to support me in pursuing those opportunities. And there's so many other examples I could speak of, even with myself in love relationships, cutting off beautiful relationships or not committing to relationships because I didn't feel ready to receive, or maybe I didn't feel worthy to receive. And I just kick myself sometimes, right? But again, everything happens for a reason, and life teaches us lessons. So, with that said, some of the most transformative moments in my life did not happen alone. Most of the moments that have elevated me, transmuted things within me that maybe I didn't even needed to be transmuted. And so it's really important to put yourself in spaces that hold you, that hold space for you, your pain, your sorrow, your growth, your development, your elevation, your becoming. Yeah. And so these are rooms that are retreats, workshops, luncheons, anywhere that people are gathering and creating sacred spaces for you to really show up with all of yourself, be seen, be heard, be held. And that's what my entire 20 plus year career has been about, creating these rooms where women or people in general are willing to tell the truth, where grief could sit next to ambition without judgment, rooms where we're going to be sharing and not performing, sharing from a place of authenticity, sharing from a place of lived experience and wisdom. And that's really what this living room wisdom has always been about. And it's what will continue to be about. Not just interviews, not just content, not just downloads. That's not what we're here for. But what we are here for is to create spaces where people can remember who they are and also share their stories to benefit others, because those stories matter. Like I always say, this is where your story is your glory. There's so much to be learned and gleaned. So there's something extraordinary that happens again when you're putting the right people in the room, like-minded, like-hearted, coming from a place of not only lived experience, but also some certain niche expertise. And so these are the conversations that deepen. These are the conversations that shift perspectives, shift lives, quite honestly. And it can happen, boom, just like that. And then suddenly that feeling of isolation, loneliness, being misunderstood starts to go away, right? And it begins to feel like a shared experience, a shared human experience. You realize that the only thing that struggle taught you is that there is actually someone out there who does understand that you're not alone, and that when you open up and share your experience, there are so many other people experiencing the same thing or who have experienced the same thing and can lead you, guide you, and show you the way, right? So transitions really shouldn't be about shame. They shouldn't be about hiding. They should be about showing up and sharing and experience and moving through things together, because someone else has already walked through it, I guarantee you. And the dream you're carrying, someone actually believes that dream is possible for you. Better yet, they want to support you in creating that dream. I think that's been the most mind-blowing part of my journey up until this point, is the last few years of me really opening myself to being supported, not only opening myself to receive, but asking, right? Asking for support, asking for sponsorship, asking for people to be on boards or planning committees and things of that nature. I would have never done that before. And it's been the most amazing, most expansive, most elevating thing that I've actually learned to do. And I keep saying learned or choosing because we all have these choices available, that these choices and this support available to us once we decide to take advantage of it. Okay, so this is something you can learn. This is something you can choose. This is something you can create. And that's the power of community. That's the power of intentional rooms. And part of you creating that, you don't have to even create it. You just step in. You say yes. You seek them out. You say yes, you step in, and then you allow the alchemy to happen. And that's why I say that this podcast is more than just a podcast. It's a doorway into conversations, retreats, our pure abundance retreats, communities where we reconnect with ourselves and others on a much deeper level than we do in the outside world. Because again, you were never meant to do this alone. So, if you are new here, I really want to invite you to dive deeper into our community. And first thing I'll do is encourage you to binge episodes because there was a lot of amazing interviews, women, people, experts that we've interviewed over the last 100 episodes. And I know that there are messages and lessons and wisdom that you can glean from those episodes. So you can search it by title, you can search it by episode number, do your thing. But when you find the ones that really resonate with where you are right now, go deeper. Don't just listen passively. Grab a pen, grab a paper, do some journaling, dive deep because this is the space for your transformation. There are over 100 episodes, 100 conversations with extraordinary leaders, thinkers, entrepreneurs, and everyday people who have navigated real life transitions and came out on the other side shining. It's worth sharing. Share with your friends. If something resonates with you, if you know someone in your life is going through something, send them the episode. And also make sure that you subscribe so that you can receive the alerts of our interviews, panel conversations, wisdom drops. We have so much more to come. This is just the beginning. And I'm so excited that this milestone 100th event is becoming the launching pad for all of the vision, the expansive vision that I have for this network, this platform, and for you. So, the second thing I want to do is to create this intentional space beyond the podcast, whether you're joining us on some of our experiences. Like I said, Pure Abundance Retreat, that's where we bring beautiful women together all across the world, outside of the noise of everyday life, so that they can reconnect with themselves and also start to develop or write their next chapter. Our next retreat is in Thailand. We've done that one a couple years. We've done multiple retreats in Belize, and we're always looking for beautiful new locations that feel like a container, right? Places where we really feel held by the earth, by the environment, by the communities, and we bring our retreats to those different countries. And so you can consider that. You can also consider joining our Sovereign CEO Collective, which is an ongoing container for women that are building businesses, that are doing leadership, that building families, and they want to do it in alignment with the truth of who they are, not who they've been told to be, not who they've been, but who they're becoming. And so we're holding that space. That's an ongoing space for our communities. So you can definitely look into that. These rooms are designed for connection, they're designed for clarity, alchemy, and community. And then, lastly, if anything I've said today resonates with you, I definitely want you to subscribe wherever you listen. You can actually view this this incredible podcast on YouTube. Spotify also has a video element, but we're on iHeart, we're on Apple Podcasts, you name it, we are there. So, whatever works for you in your lifestyle, as long as you stay connected, and then share the episodes with people that might need it in your life. Make sure that Living Room Wisdom is getting into more living rooms. And if you have a moment, I want to also ask you to reciprocate. Share some love, share a review. Let us know which episodes touched you most. Let us know what kind of episodes you would like to see. This is a co creation, and I always say a conversation, not a presentation, right? We want to call you into the sacred space. So reviews really help us reach more people that might be searching for certain types of content. And it would just mean so much for me if you would just take a few minutes and drop a review or a comment. And before we close, I just want to let you know what's coming next. I kind of alluded to this earlier. One of the highlights of our Living Room Wisdom 100th episode celebration was the panel discussion. The panel conversation was mind blowing, but we had such limited time for a three-person panel conversation. And so, what we're doing is we're going to continue this conversation here. The insights that were shared were rich and everyone gave such incredible feedback. So, we're going to actually be sitting down with each of our panelists, Lenka Holman, Eva Veneri, and Dr. Karen Kramer, individually for interviews. Okay. And so we're going to take a deep dive into their experience, into their expertise, so that we can get the most out of that conversation. And so you're definitely going to want to stay tuned. Our episodes drop every Wednesday, whether there's wisdom drops like this one, panel conversations, or interviews. But just so you know what you're going to hear in the next few episodes, we're going to go deep dive into leadership, into identity, embodied abundance, and also transitions. We are also going to talk about that broader grief conversation that I mentioned earlier. So, if any of this is feeling resonant for you, if it aligns for where you're at in this moment, let's continue the conversation in an honest, thoughtful, and incredibly timely way, right? So, these next three episodes will go deep. And I just want to thank you for joining me on this episode, as well as future and past episodes of Living Room Wisdom, where your story is your glory. We will see you next week. Take care. Namaste.